Wow, so I just got done watching the AEW All In Texas main event, the Texas Death Match between Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. This was a great match, right? I was very entertained by this. Sometimes I think AEW goes too far, like with their shit, but I actually like this. This felt like the end of a movie. This felt like Hangman fighting like the big bad guy, right? And it's fitting too because Moxley is kind of like this crazy guy who's into shit like this. He does like barbed wire stuff. He had a fucking a pin needle board in this match. They went through like four tables. This match was pretty sick, man. If I was a parent, I honestly don't know if like I would want my kids to watch some stuff like this. Right now, I grew up in like the ruthless aggression era, so like one of my favorite matches of all time is John Cena versus JBL in the I Quit match, and that's as bloody and as gory as it gets, right? But this was a step further than that, you know. This was a step further than ruthless aggression WWE like gory matches, right? This was pretty crazy. If you're not a fan of AEW, I honestly advise you. I think you should watch this match, right? I would recommend you watch this match even if you're not like a fan of this style, I think you would get into it because it was a good guy versus bad guy match, and seeing a good guy come out on top at the end, it was a feel good moment. It was honestly a feel good moment, right? I have different takeaways from it. Like I have some good takeaways, and I have some bad takeaways. First off, I'm gonna just go into the good though. The good thing to take away from this is this felt like a new era for AEW. Hangman winning the championship, right? I'm not gonna say this is to the level of Stone Cold beating Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14, but this just feels like AEW is gonna take a step in a different direction now that Hangman is the champion and the Moxley era is over, right? And also, they chose Hangman over Darby Allin, right? I'm not the biggest AEW fan, but I do keep up with it a little bit. I understand Darby Allin was the other guy people thought was going to beat Moxley, so they chose Hangman, right? So they're going to go with Hangman as the guy now, and it feels like they can start fresh. They can start something new now, right? This Death Riders thing is behind them. We're into a new era, right? Stone Cold, HBK at WrestleMania 14, but to a little lesser degree, in my opinion. I also think this was a big weekend for AEW because honestly, I was more interested in AEW this week than I was the WWE. Right? I watched All In first. I watched All In like a couple hours after it happened. Right? I just stayed off my phone to not watch any spoilers. But I'm watching All In before I watched Saturday night's main event. Right? I was more interested to see what happened in this matchup than I was, for Gunther and Goldberg or Solo Sikoa and Jimmy or what the fuck is the other match? Seth and LA Knight, right? I don't even know what the fourth one is. But I was more I was more interested in this, and that's the first time I've been interested in AEW more than WWE, in a long, long time, right? Probably ever. I usually am, but this was good, man. I also got like to see Daniel Bryan coming back. He did the yes thing. Um, it was cool to see Daniel Bryan back. This was like the group that took him out, made him retire too, so he gets his revenge, right? This was good. AEW did some good stuff here. I had heard some rumors that like maybe Sting would be also returning here too, but he didn't return, right? But it probably wasn't needed. You don't want to like completely rip off Cody Roman and have like Sting kind of like copy the Undertaker role, even though he had something to do with this a little bit, I guess. But this was good, man. You even had the Swerve Strickland thing, which I didn't touch on at all either, right? Swerve Strickland and Hangman had this crazy feud. If you're a wrestling fan, you definitely like heard about this. They had this crazy feud like last year, 2 years ago, and then they kind of put it behind them and they helped each other out. Swerve handed Hangman the chain that he choked him out with in the Texas Death Match like 2 years ago, right? And Hangman ended up doing the same thing to Jon Moxley. He choked him out, he hung him over the ropes, and he tapped him out, right? This was good, right? This was good to see the bad guy tap out and quit, but this is where we get into my problems with this match, right? I feel like this moment could have been bigger. When I said Stone Cold beating Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14, like this is what they were kind of like going for, I feel like, or Cody beating Roman, like this is what they were going for, like just a new chapter, right? Good guy wins and it's a new chapter for everybody. I feel like that could have been done in a one-on-one match, just a one-on-one normal wrestling match, normal main event. It didn't need to be this Texas death match. If anything, I feel like the Texas death match should have been the part two of Moxley versus Hangman, right? That's the match that makes the Death Riders go away for good, right? Moxley comes out and says, yeah, you might have beat me in a regular match, but can you beat me in a Texas death match? And then they put some stipulations on it. They put some stakes on it. And Hangman's like, you know what? I'll be willing to go into Texas death with you again, but if I beat you, you have to leave. You have to leave this company. The Death Riders are no more, right? Y'all are all done if I beat you. That should have been like the stipulation for the second match. Now they got the job done with this, right? This was still fine, but I just feel like that moment of Hangman pinning Moxley would have been just as good as this moment of him choking him out with a chain. And you also could have got both. You could have got the moment of him pinning him and then him choking him out to make the Death Riders like finally fucking go away forever, right? So that's just like some of the, like one of my like few gripes with it, right? And then my other gripe is like the match kind of dragged a little bit. It was entertaining, I'm not gonna lie, but it kind of dragged a little bit, right? They started doing a little too much, like the pin board with the pin board. I mean the fucking needle board. It was a little too much for me. That's when I felt like the match was dragging too far, right? At the point when Hangman hit Moxley with the two buckshot lariats, I thought he was gonna hit him with the third one, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna hit him with the third one. This is it. But then he doesn't do it. He reverses it something, and then they bring out a fucking pin board, right? This match should have ended like 10 minutes, 15 minutes earlier than it did. But I'm not complaining because I enjoyed it, right? But that was just like one of my few like gripes with it. I felt like bro, this is dragging too long. This is going too long. And my other complaint was this is too violent for a kid to watch this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is too much for a kid to watch. This is like, and I understand AEW's audience is like the 18 to like, what is it, the 18 to like 49 demographic, like that's the target audience, right? But wrestling is also like it's big for kids, bro. Like kids are into wrestling. That's like a majority of the audience also. And if AEW wants to be like, they want to take that next step and they want to actually rival WWE like for real, they have to you have to not cater to the kids, but make it like at least like, okay, I could sit down and watch this shit with my kid. Like this went too far, right? This isn't, like I said, this isn't like Ruthless Aggression WWE. Like you can watch a Triple H Batista Hell in a Cell match with your kid and it's not too much, right? The Cena JBL match is like it's kind of pushing it a little bit, but I feel like you can watch that too, right? This was crazy, bro. These guys are like stabbing forks into their fucking heads. They're cutting each other with barbed wire for real, right? They're landing on glass. They're doing pile drivers on glass. So, like, the glass is going into their freaking skull. Like, AEW is some sick shit, bro. This is, like, the indie shit that you see on, like, IG Reels at, like, 2 o'clock in the morning, like, when you're scrolling. Like, a dude go through, like, a glass fucking table. Like, have you ever seen that wrestling company? They're just strictly, like, glass table matches. And they're, like, getting power bombed off ladders and like rooftops into like freaking glass tables or like flaming glass tables. Just a side note, but like AEW is like, you know, like they like this match was sick, bro. That's just my whole point. Like this match was sick. If you're into this kind of shit, like you would love this, right? If you're not, I still recommend you watch it because I do think it was good. It was a good guy beating the bad guy moment, right? This was a good match. But yeah, that's all I think I gotta say about this. I'm gonna probably watch AEW. Oh, you know, one of my last things I wanted to say too, right? When Hangman won and they were kind of like dragging the celebration along a little bit, I thought for a second that MJF was gonna cash in his Casino Battle Royale contract thing, right? I don't even know if they have a contract for that shit, but it's basically like AEW's Money in the Bank. I thought he was gonna cash in on Hangman. It would make sense, right? That he's so weak, but we'll see what happens with them though. We'll see what happens with that, and I'm gonna probably watch AEW after this. That's one thing they got out of me. They got me to want to watch AEW and see what happens after this match. So yeah, we'll see what's up with AEW next Wednesday or like Thursday, whenever Collision or whatever the fuck it is. We'll see what's up with that though. I'll catch you guys later though. It's your boy VSB. Peace out.